We're talking about ways to believe. And I want to be very clear that these particular ways will help us whenever you're faced with something to know where you are and say, I think this is the kind of belief that I will apply. Because belief is our business. We must make a conscious, deliberate choice to believe God. A conscious, deliberate choice every day to believe Him. So when you're talking about ways to believe Him, there is no way which is higher than the other. Strictly speaking, they are all the same. It's just that situations vary, our personalities vary, and in different times in our lives, we'll be forced to apply different ways of believing God. The first way to believe God is stillness. Now, Psalms 46:10 says this, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Stillness in the Hebrew means this, to abandon or to let go, to sit or to rest. And there are things in our lives, my dear friends, that happen, but there is no other way to believe God but just to abandon the issue. There's no other way to believe God but just to let it go, to sit and to watch Him do. It says, be still and know that I am God. Meaning it's saying that sit and let me show you my power. Let me show you that I have control. You know, I was telling someone the other day that there are phone calls now you might get from a loved one saying, I need this, or I have this issue. You are in Nairobi, maybe they are even out of the country. You can't even reach them, you know. And at times I was having a discussion with my mom a few days ago, and I was telling her, I am in Nairobi, you're in Kitale. There's nothing I can do right now. The only thing that I can do right now is to be still and know that He is God. Is to abandon this issue because it's a battle that is beyond me now. There are some battles, my dear friend, that are beyond our pay grade. You cannot fight them. Maybe people are discussing things about you. You've gotten letters. You are hearing the company wants to do this. You're hearing this happening. There are things that are beyond us. And in truth, as a Christian, I must come to a place and say, I understand, but I know that God can do all things. By His word, I know He has power. By His word, I know there is salvation. But I know one thing, that this one I should be still. Sit. Don't be busy. There are things, my dear friends, you won't decree, you won't declare. There are things you won't name and claim. There are things you won't even fast and get answers. There are things, my dear friend, the best way to believe God is simply to be still. Stillness is the bridge between the flesh and the soul. When you know how to be still, you become more inclined to what happens in the spiritual realm. If you are not still, then your flesh takes more control. And there are things that we require our spirits to see what our flesh cannot see. This one comes in stillness. It is in stillness that we know He is God. Stillness brings the revelation of the power of God. Stillness brings the realization of who God is. It is in stillness that God shows His power. It is in stillness that God reveals His might. And at times, my dear friends, there are things in life you will stand up and say a prayer, and you will say, mountain, move, and it will move. And there are things in your life you will sit and you will tell God, this is your mountain to move. I have nothing left. You go for this one, Jesus. That is the first way to believe God. And I like to read Exodus 14:13. It says this, Moses said to the people, fear not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which He will show to you today. In stillness, the Lord shows His hand. At times, my dear friends, God does not want us to be ninjas and supermen and superwomen. There are things in our lives God doesn't want us to fix. And one of the best ways to bring faith alive and the faith to manifest is by applying this way of believing, where, Lord, I will be still. I will abandon this one. I will not fight. I will not yell. I won't call people and lobby for my job. I won't call the boss and beg for my job. Lord, I will sit and I will be still, that I may know that you are God. My dear friends, it is important to know in your life the battles that you must allow God to fight, and the battles that you can't do anything about. They were heading to the Red Sea, and the Egyptian army was pursuing them. At that time, the most powerful army on the planet is pursuing them. They have not been trained for war. They are slaves. How do they fight? The only way was to be still and to know that He is God. My dear friends, my prayer for you this day, That the Lord may give you the grace to be still. If you look at your family, maybe there's something in your family you are confused. You don't know what to do about it. Next week we'll be praying about the Lord to give us direction on various things. Some of the things in your life that you need direction for, you need stillness. Train yourself to be still. I said it is stillness that gives birth to drawing. When you are still, the Lord will draw you. When He draws you, you can wait. When you wait, He can renew your strength. It is in stillness that the Lord beckons us. It's in stillness that the Lord whispers. It is in stillness that He shows us and exposes us to His power. One of the best ways to believe God is to allow Him to take the wheel. Let Him take the wheel in your family, in your marriage, in your finances, in your health. You've tried everything. Tell Him just take control.